everybody, so Beaton here and welcome back to another past paper practice video. In this video, we will be continuing with some number theory questions. So let's not waste any more time, let's head straight into it. So this question says, a sequence of figures is made from squares of unit length. The first three figures in the sequence are shown below. So we have figure 1, figure 2, and figure 3. They want us to draw figure 4 in the sequence. So let's analyze what happens in each figure. So we see originally we started off with 1, 2, 3 squares. And then we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for figure 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we see we're increasing by 2 squares, and the 2 squares are added on at the side here. So in the next figure, we should have 9 squares. So let's draw exactly what we have in figure 3. So I'll try to use a ruler and draw it as neat as possible. So you can split this in 2. And so this that I have here is figure 3. So to get figure 4, I see I need to add on 2 at the side. So I add on 1 here. Then I add on another one at the top here. And this will give me figure 4. And if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares. 2 more than figure 3, and that keeps with the pattern. So let's move on. So the next question says, study the pattern of numbers in each row of the table below. Each row relates to one of the figures in the sequence of figures on page 22. So this will be page 22. Some rows have not been included in the table. So complete the rows numbered 1, 2, and 3. So we want to complete this table, and each row is going for 2 marks. So these are easy marks you want to collect at CSEC. You just got to analyze what is going on. So let's look at figure 1. So for figure 1, we see we have 1, and we have 3 for the number of squares, and then we have the perimeter as 8. So for figure 2, we see we have figure 2. We have 5 now, and then we have 12. For figure 3, we see we have 3, and then 7, and then 16. So let's look at the pattern. So first of all, how can we move from figure 1 to the number of squares? So let's try multiplying by 2. So 1 multiplied by 2 will give me 2. And let's try adding 1 now. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So let's try it. Let's see if that pattern works at the bottom. So let's try multiplying by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1. So we see it works for all. So that means it will work for the others. So first of all, we can figure out n. If we figure out n, first of all, that would give us an easy way to finish out the table. So we can say for the number of figures for n, it's 2 times whatever is here. So this will be 2 times n, which will be 2n plus 1. And let's try to figure out how we got here now. So we see we have 8, 12, and 16. So we see we are increasing by 4. So let's see how we can move from here to here, or from here to here. So we have 8. So how can we move from 3 to 8? So let's try 3 times 2 plus 2. Let's see if that will work. So 3 times 2 will give me 6, plus 2 will give me 8. So 3 times 2 plus 2. So let's try 5 times 2 will give me 10, plus 2 will give me 12. So that is working. So let's try 7 times 2 plus 2. That would give me 16. So we see that is the pattern there. So we see we are multiplying whatever is here by 2, and then we're adding 2. So to get this here, we see whatever is here is 2n plus 1. So 2 multiplied by, so I can work this out to this idea. So 2 multiplied by 2n plus 1, and then I'm adding 2. So 2 times 2n would give me 4n. 2 times 1 would give me plus 2. And then I add the 2 on the side here. So 4n, 2 plus 2 would give me 4. So 4n plus 4. And that would be the perimeter. So we see, you can say P is equal to this here, because that's the perimeter, and they have S is equal to that. So now let's answer out the rest of the table. So we have the general formula, so we can use that to find for the others. Or a nice thing that students tend to do, they tend to not get the formula, but they use some way to figure out what is here. So that is what you can do as well. Instead of using a formula, you can just try to trial and error until you get what is going on here. Because it's better to get 2 marks and 2 marks for this, which is 4, than to get 0. Better to get 4 out of 6 than 0. So if you don't figure out this, at least do some trial and error and get the answers at the top here. So let's go. So this will be 4 times 2 plus 1. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And now to move from here, we have, so we see the original thing that we started out with. I'll use that because that is easier. So it's 2 times whatever is here. So 2 times 9 plus 2. So 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. And the same thing here, 43 times 2 plus 2. So 43 times 2, give me 86 plus 2, give me 88. So here is 88. So I'm using this original one. This here is a simplified version, which is the same thing as this, but I'm just using this times 2 plus 2. So I can erase this, I can erase this, and I can erase this. But we still have to get an answer here. So what number will give us 43? What number can we multiply by 2 and add 1 to get 43? So we see this 43, it's 1 is adding to it. So let's try. So we see 40 is 43, we have 1 added to it. So let's subtract 1, that will be 42. So we multiply, let's divide 42 by 2. So I'll give you 21. So 21 times 2 would give me 42, plus 1 would give me 43. So I see the number is 21. So you can also do trial and error here. So 21 times 2 would give me 42, plus 1 would give me 43. And that will work as well. Or you could have done this. We know the formula is 2n plus 1. So we know 2n plus 1 is equal to 43. And since you want to find n, we can solve for n. So this would be 2n is equal to, this is adding, so I take it over subtract. So we'll have 43, subtract 1 is 42. And hence n is equal to, this 2 is multiplying the n, when you take it over to divide. So 42 divided by 2 will give me 21. So n is equal to 21, which is this here that we found. So you could have done the trial and error, or you could have solved it as a nice equation. And that is the answer there. So we have 9, 20, 21, 88. We have the formula, and we have the other formula. So a key thing that we can see for these formulas, we're multiplying by something and then we're adding something to it. Or sometimes you will multiply and then you'll subtract. So you just need to find the number that you will multiply by and add or subtract. So let's move on to the next question. This one says, determine the relationship between squares, which is represented by S, and the perimeter, which is represented by P of the figure. So you want to know what is the relationship between the two. So now we want to determine the relationship between S and P. So first of all, we see S is equal to 2n plus 1. So we see S is equal to 2n plus 1. And then we see P is equal to 4n plus 4. And then we see P is equal to 4n plus 4. I want to determine the relationship between S and P. So what we need to do, we need to put these two equations into each other, and that will give us the relationship. We'll end up with a formula, and that formula will tell us what is the relationship between these two. The only way you can determine the relationship is by combining them. So how can we put either of the equation into the other? So what we can do, we can take, we see both of the equations have n in common. So what we can do, we can make n the subject for either one of the equations, then put it in the other. So what we can do, we can take this equation, we can make n the subject, and then we'll put that into the other equation. So we'll have S is equal to 2n plus 1. So to solve for n, to make n the subject, we just take over everything surrounding the n. So this will be S, this is 1 is adding, or you take it over, we'll subtract. Subtract 1 is equal to 2n. So this 2 is multiplying, and we take it over, we'll divide. So we'll have n is equal to s minus 1 all divided by 2. So n is equal to s minus 1 all divided by 2. So this is the value of n when n is the subject for this equation. So we're now taking this here and we're putting it into this equation. That will give us the relationship. So we'll have p is equal to 4 multiplied by n. Now instead of n, we'll have s minus 1 all divided by 2 plus 4. So we see this 4 is multiplying here and this 2 is dividing. So this 2 and 4 can simply cancel out. So we'll have 2 ones 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now we have 2 multiplied by everything in this bracket. So perimeter will be 2 times s will be 2s. And 2 times minus 1 will be minus 2 plus 4. Hence p would be equal to 2s. So negative 2 plus 4 would be plus 2. And hence this will be the relationship between s and p. As you can see, both s and p are in one equation, and that kind of tells you the relationship. You see p is equal to 2s plus 2. And so we basically use some algebra to answer this question. All right, so we just substitute one equation into the other, simplify it, and end up in an equation with both of the terms, both of the variables that we want, one being equal to the other, and that will give us the relationship. And with that, this has brought me to the end of this past paper practice video on number theory. And in future videos, we'll be looking at some more questions. So until then, take care and remember to keep practicing.